Hello everyone, welcome to another session of Mule tutorial. In my previous tutorial, I have shown you how to set up environment, Mule Studio or any point studio, and how to run it, how to deploy it, and I also provide tutorial on how to connect to ActiveMQ, how to create a RESTful web service. Welcome to take a look. In this session, I'm going to explain and demo how to create handle exceptions in MuleFlow. Exception handling is a big topic. You might take a look at Mule document and has error handling section there. Today I'm going to create a flow. Okay, so let me go back to my Mule here. So I'm going to create a flow like this. We're going to post HTTP message JSON in JSON format, and then we convert to JSON to object in HashMap, and then we're going to filter it, create a customer filter, and then we're going to log it, create a logging, and then return back. So what happened in the filter? It actually is a validation. So we're going to validate if the input missing some information, we throw exceptions. So we can handle those exceptions. There are many exception handling strategies. So in this example, I'm using choice exception strategy. So you can handle different exceptions, as you can see here, right? So this is the scenario. We're going to handle some missing data. We're going to handle some invalid data. I'm not going to too much detail about exception handling. As I said, you can go this website and take a look, and show you how to create some of them, and then you understand better the exception handling. So let's go back here. I already created this project. Let's do a test first, so you know what I'm doing. So I'm going to use this postman to the XML form. The JSON message will look like this way, right? So let's run it here. Okay. Exception handling tutorial. Yeah, that's the one. Alright, so now it's done. I'm going to use, if you haven't installed Postman, it's pretty easy on MacBook Pro. So you can post a message. This is so far I think is the best testing tool you can use. So I'm going to send a message, right? So send. So this is the result come back, right? And if you look here, and this is a message. Let's see if I can log this. So this is the message, and see, this is the payload, logging processor payload here, right? So this is the Mule message here. So I produced from this two logger, and then I set payload. If you look here, payload, I set payload blah blah, and if you go back, uh, here, this is a payload. This is my payload, right? And I send this. See that? Okay. So this is a case. This is a use case. This is the background. I already created this. So given that, I'm going to now, as always, I'm going to create everything from scratch. So you can learn it, how to build the Mule flow, how to handle exceptions, how to, do some research. Hopefully, this for the, beginner. You just learn this. You can, how do know how to do things from the beginning. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. I'm not going to delete this as I'm going to create a new project. So new Mule project. As you can see, I have installed a lot of them. Mule server 3.6.2. In my previous tutorial, I'm mostly using EE version. It gave me a lot of headache. It's most about Maven dependency when you try to build it outside the studio. And so actually it's much easier using community version. You get the same result, same kind of training, right? So if you haven't installed this, I would suggest you use the community version, install EE version. It's just too much hassle. Try to figure out all the dependency. Alright, so now let's call it Mule exception handling demo, right? So this is my demo, and I'm going to create a Maven project. As always, I'll call it GGL. This is my company, consulting. By the way, I do a lot of consulting in the ESB arena. I do Mule ESB, JBoss, JBoss service work, etc. But anyway, so this is one we do next. Nothing special here. You can just go ahead. I use it under my workspace. So do next, and then finish. Okay. So it do a build. So now it's create an empty one, right? So this one, let me close this one. So now create an empty project and did a build inside. And as a developer, it's always a good idea. Try to run it outside. So I create a project. We call Mule CD Mule exception handling project. So we can do a Maven clean install. This is an empty project that you want to do. Make sure there's no problem. Let's do a build. Yeah, it's very easy. Everything's passed. That's a good thing about the community version. You don't have to worry about all the dependency. Everything works from smoothly from the beginning. All right. So I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to create a HTTP connector first. That's probably the simplest one. In my future, maybe I will do something from messaging to messaging, but for now, let's do this way. So create connector, and as you can see here, it's not defined. So we're going to add a global. Nothing changed. 8081. All right. So do that. For those you don't know, the Mule, they have a global component. We already configured this in the global component. I'll talk more about this global component. I mentioned that in my earlier tutorial, you can create domain project is similar here. So go here now. If you look here, it create. This is a global component, and inside there is a Mule. Okay. So nothing special. Let's go there. We can. Let's see. We just can test it now. But we need to set payload before we test it. So I want to, step by step. So when you do things, it's also a good idea to test while you're doing your work. So I'm going to do something like here, say payload. Just 1 sec. So the good thing about if you know Eclipse, there's auto complete. This is pretty neat feature. That's why I think Mule has done a lot of work to help the developers. You can all this in out, make your programming much easier. This GUI is really very impressive. I have to say that. Given that, so basically we were done. We can test now. So let's do save it and run it. So you can run from here, or you can run from here, or you can right click here, right? Run as Mule. Either way is fine. Different people have different preference. Okay, here is deployed. We can use Postman to run it. So I didn't give you more detail. So you can do post, right? So there are a lot of detail, you can learn it, but I'm not going to too much here. Let me know if you need some assistance. So now we can send it, right? Let's see. Okay, so payload, you see that? What happened is that it's a buffer stream, right? It didn't convert anything. Another thing is, this is a good thing about when you do testing, you know what's going on really. So Mule did not do any. What he get is a buffer input stream, right? That's okay. So we're gonna fix this, because what happened? HT come in, Mule convert into a stream, into buffer input stream, right? So now it's a kind of object, right? So we're going, as I said, I'm going to convert from JSON to object. Object is HashMap, right? So using this transformer. Okay. So let's. I don't think I want to run it. By the way, if you look at this, is doing this is a Maven build. If you're not familiar with this, there's here you can see that this Maven output, there are two output, right? One is Mule output, because Mule is running. This tells you Mule is running. Let me stop it, because during the process, there was some error. There will be some error. So, but anyway, so let's focus on here. So remember, we come in as a JSON format. Actually, it's a string, and then Mule converted into a buffer input stream, and that is so. And then if you use this transformer, it converts from JSON, because from stream to JSON, and then we tell say convert this from JSON to object. What kind of object? I would like to use util HashMap, right? HashMap. There's some improvement here I think Mule can do. instead I type with this thing, it should provide some assistance here. I think that will be in, hopefully that in their future development. If you want to, probably I would like to involve this stuff in the future, maybe in the become community. You see, this would be neat, right? So we can search. I want hash map. Just sometimes you might mistyping typo, create some typo. But anyway, so now we want to create a hash map, right? Save it. Remember here during the testing we create buffers. We got buffer stream, right, in the payload. So now see what happened. So okay, what I have done this far is that HTTP input JSON format, JSON and then to hash map here, right? JSON to hash map. Now let's run it, see what happens. So now you can see it here, right? Run it. Okay, so now let's test it. Same input and send it. Yeah, so now you can see that it's much better now. So we get a JSON string back here, right? Internally, he used the Json transformation from object, Json utilities. I'm not going to go to the detail on that, but anyway, so we have done this. We have tested. Okay, we got the JSON message. Okay, now let's add some logging here. Logger here in the component, right? So logger here, right? So as I said, I will add 2 loggers. You might not. This is just for testing purpose. So first logger, I'm going to log the payload here, right? Payload. Cool. So the second one, I'm going to log message. See that? So you understand what's inbound, outbound, etc. So now, let's see. I think it's still running. I'm going to stop it because I'm going to add a. Remember, in my earlier I said I'm going to add a filter. I create. Yeah, I have not created. So I'm going to add a customer filter here. So what this will do, the filter will check the message content. It will look for email address. If there's no email address, it will throw error, say okay, something is missing, and it's also inspect the data. So if data, for example, the unit is not bigger than 1, we're going to throw some kind of exceptions. So as I said, this is about exception handling. Even so, I spent some time to demonstrate how to build Mule flow. The real purpose, I want to demo some error handling. So this is a customer. It's a Java class, right? The filter. So I have already created this class. I'm going to copy this, right? Let's copy over to here, the Java. Paste here, right? So he said, okay, that's fine. If you know Eclipse, this is normal stuff. So what happened? Okay, this is my customer filter. before I explain it, let me add, you need to add a class here, right? So do class here, say it's called, remember this class called input data validator, right? So input data. Now we can see here it's guided, right? So let me see if I can. So that this is here. Do OK. Select it. Go back. So we select this class here, right? So this was its customer filter. Basically, it's validation. You can put your validation logic if you want to do it here. And now, let me open this Java class. This is just a Java class. So let me see if you can. Just 1 second. Zoom in a little bit so you can see better. So this is a class. This is a filter. Implement the filter. Filter is Mule provided class. And let's say look. You can do F3, right? To quick look at. So it's only one. This is the interface, one class. Accept Mule message, right? Return boolean. So, and then what I did, as I said, I'm going to integrate the data, and the message, the Mule message, we convert the payload. We know the payload is HashMap, right? So this map. Here we say, okay, if payload does not contain email, I'm going to throw a NullPointerException. I mean, you can throw some whatever your exception. I'm just this way. Another way, I'm going to throw if the item unit is less than 1. If you still see that item units, item price per unit, those both of them cannot be negative, right? So sorry. So this say you cannot have less than item unit less than 1. If you less than 1, I will throw exception, illegal argument exception, like that, right? So cannot be negative. Anyway, let me go back here. So this is the one I create. Okay, so this is done. So what the flow? If you look here, we get HTTP input. We post the JSON message. We convert JSON to HashMap, and then we do some validation here. If there's something wrong, we're going to throw exceptions, right? And then we log it and we set payload. Of course, those are just for the demo purposes. In the real application, you probably do not have to do this way. Let's do some tests again. Just make sure we didn't create a problem. We didn't make say yes. Okay, of course. Nothing should change, right? We didn't do anything yet. Let's go back here and let's send it. Yeah, we didn't do anything, so everything's good. This is good. So the flow so far is working. If you're interested, you can take a look what happened here, right? So we did this is a connector, HTTP connector inbound, and then we convert JSON. We do a customer filter. We do login, and then we set payload. Nothing really fancy. Okay, let me stop the server so we can focus on the. Now we're going to do some exception handling. Remember here, if email is missing, we're going to throw NullPointerExceptions, right? We're going to catch those exceptions. First of all, as I said, we have we have two kind of exceptions. So we would, so this would be used like this scenario, like choice exception. And for this one, there's nothing. I think you can just leave as it. And then we're going to create some catch exception. This is just like when you do Java, you can try and catch, right? This is just catch exceptions. As I said, I have two exceptions. I'm going to, for the simplicity. This one, the first one, I'm going to catch, say, missing email, right? Say missing data, right? And this one, I'm going to catch the invalid data. See, invalid data. Invalid data. Okay. So first one, if something is missing, the second one is that's a high level, right? And now we're going to do something. What happens if the missing data, right? And we're going to do, we need to return, I want to return the payload, right? Tell the message what happened. We're going to set the payload. Let's see here. All right, set payload. We're going to do something. We need to set some variable. So we tell the HTTP the status code and reason. Remember, in the here, right? There's status code and reason, right? We need to fill here. We need to so we can the user know what happened, right? That's the purpose. Let me quickly fill it. So we're going to do the similar stuff. Set payload. We're going to set two variables. Okay. All right. So this one, we're going to set the variable, say reason, right? This one, say missing input data. Okay. And this one, we're going to this one, oh, missing data, invalid data. Yes, so this will be reason, right? Same here, and will be invalid input data. Okay, so here we're going to set a status code. So the same status code. I mean, this is around the 400 family. You can, that doesn't matter. Let's do set status code. Same code, right? So be 400. And so we did that. Now here the payload. Payload we will say here, say missing data. Okay, and then we just return payload back. So no. Payload. Missing data payload. Okay, very good. Here will be similar. But will be invalid data. Invalid data. And then we say payload here. Okay. So now we create an exception, right? Two exception strategy. We need to change a little bit here in order to get this back. Status code. All right, so here we do something. Flow variables, right? Remember, I'm not sure if I have shown you this before, but you can do, let's say, this will be status code, okay? This is the another very interesting feature from Mule. You can set flow variables, right? And so we'll take it here. Basically, you are passing the variable. If you think about some programming, like a static variable, I think that's how probably internally. I haven't looked at the source code for this yet, but I believe that that is how they implement it. So flow variable. Think about this as some kind of static variable. Anyway, so this one we pass recent back. Okay. So save it. Let's look at here. HTTP we have that response error response builder, right? So we have this is our exception handling strategy. It's better to look this way. Anyway, one thing, yeah. Here, I might do something here actually, just in case. So if payload is not null, I want to system dot print. So print payload maybe here dot toString here. All right, so if I change the class here, I did that. Oh, okay. So let's do go through this. So we did using choice exception strategy because we throw different exceptions, and we have two kind of exceptions. One is missing data. If you look here, if it's missing data, we throw NullPointerException, right? One thing I think I didn't do here. Oh, sorry. Let's go back. Yeah. So this is a tricky part. Here is a Mule need to improve again. This typing is really pretty error prone. So it's good idea to go back to document. You can see here, you have the good this is a good thing about document. I would like to copy and paste here, right? So copy, paste here. This is your class. Okay. So for this one, I'm catching because missing data. Let's say Java language dot, right? So missing data, what will happen? If it's missing data, we throw NullPointerException here, right? Let's copy this, copy over here. Oh, so now you see it does has a compiler checking your syntax. So now pass it, right? So let me copy this, Control C. I'm going to use here as well. So Control V. Instead of NullPointerException, we throw here invalid argument, right? So here we throw invalid argument exception. Okay. So let's go there and copy this over. Yeah. So now compiler is happy. And so let's review again. This we have null pointer exception if the missing data if is exception caused by Java illegal argument. What? Yeah. So we'll catch two exceptions. I think we can run it now. Let's try run it. Let's see how. Okay, ready. First of all, we need to test three. Actually, there's four cases, right? First one, we're going to test the success scenario. We're going to test this case. Nothing changed, right? Successful scenario. We should be okay. Yeah. So still same, but now remember, the second case is if I don't find. Remember, this is the key, right? The JSON key and value. So I'm going to delete this, right? So without email, it will complain. If you look here, it was looking for email key, right? So I delete that email. It should throw the null pointer exception. Let's see if that is the case. Yeah, so it said email is missing, and here it says null pointer exception, right? And sorry, too fast. Okay. Hopefully this is better. So this is exceptions duck, and then this is the message, right? Email is missing, and remember we print out the this is the one with payload error code 2. Yeah, that's it, the one we want, and this is the logging, right? Remember two logins and this is the one is the printout, right? System.out, and this one is the payload, right? This one is the message. Remember we have two logging, and so yeah, so this is the case. Two logging inside this will print the message, and we catch the missing data right here. This one, right? So we test this case. Okay, if email is there, we're going to throw a null pointer exception. Oh, sorry, too fast. Right? The second case we were testing is that let's go back. Yeah, so we back to email. So there we test two cases. Remember, if one is null, so if it's less than 0, right? The item unit should not be 0. Must be greater or equal to 1. So let's see now. If we send this, we should get invalid data. Yeah. So the item unit should not. This is the error. There's a typo. Should not less than instead of greater. But we can figure. But okay. So this is a payload, and the exception is illegal argument exception, right? And if you look the standard output, we have illegal argument exception. So the error is this should be installed is not, here should be less, right? This so but that's okay. And this should be right. Yeah, is negative. Yeah, it's just telling is negative. Okay. Let me test another case. Remember last time we said 0. Let's go back to 10 here. as price cannot be negative, right? So what happens if negative? Yeah, item price is negative, right? So the output, yeah, illegal. As you can see, I have tested all the cases, and I create a flow and I cast two test scenario. So this is all the error handling, rollback, not rollback. Another thing is you might thinking about here to create a global error handling strategy. Go here under global configuration here, so you can do this way as well. So use that's fine. Here default exception strategy, you can do something like that. But not, normally you don't have to. I think yeah, that's good now. Okay. So far in this tutorial, I have step by step create a Mule flow and then add the exception handling strategies. That's really the purpose I want to show you how to create exception handling. In the meantime, I show you how to create a flow step by step without too much complicate. See, there's a lot of things you can do here. Transformer, you can do like remember this is a input stream. You can do I think there's called a stream to byte to string. Let me see. Yeah, byte array to string. You can do that here as well. But then you have to do something different here. Okay. That's it. Well, I'm going to end my my video session here. Hope you like it, and make sure comment on my on the YouTube and let me know how you think, so I can improve this in the future webinar sessions. All right, thank you very much. Hope you like it. Let me know. See you next time. Bye now.